Gotta shut the door, monkey. You forgot to shut the door. Shut the door. Oh shit, I also forgot to turn on all the things. That would help. Okay, that would help if I turn that on, and I turn that on, and I turn that on. There we go. Oh, goodness gracious. I think I fix the camera just a little bit so that, right about there. Okay. Ready? You look like you're ready. I can't slap you that hard because of the finger, but just know that's a hard butt slap in my mind. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Houston, the squeaky chair is here. So the data record for BBBY, the new Bed Bath & Beyond, was today for the warrants. Tomorrow is the data record for GameStop for their warrants, and then next week the distribution, I believe, is on the 7th for all those goodies. So, yeah. On the GME side, people are sharing lots of things showing that the old 10Ks, right around the time Hudson Bay Capital purchased all those warrants, or exercised all those warrants for Bed Bath, the old Bed Bath, about $300 million worth. That's where they're getting sued for by the estate, which was tossed. And Bed Bath is arguing, no, that wasn't us. That was for a proxy. It was for somebody else. They're just doing it through us. It was a transaction, three-party transaction. And the court basically ruled, yeah, it was. Sealed, dismissed, whatever. At the same time, GameStop was showing on their financial reports, on their 10Ks, that they had $300 million in securities in something, but didn't say what it was. And then later, when in 2023, their end of the year reporting, they had to report that they were forced to take a loss on a bunch of securities that they still held. And so people are like, that's got to be Bed Bath & Beyond. We can hope. We still sit, we still wait, we still, twiddle our thumbs and do all that stuff. But, yeah. Other news, the government is still shut down. Day 2 of the shutdown. Rumors coming about that the air traffic controllers might be like, you know what? We're gonna end this by not allowing anybody to fly. I don't know how long they'll wait, because if you are doing an essential job, you are not getting paid for it. Unless you are a president or a member of Congress, because your pay is enshrined in the Constitution. So, yeah. What else is happening in the world? The U.S. is basically going to go to war with drug dealers in the Caribbean. They're going to start blowing stuff up here anytime soon, and probably a bunch of stuff in Venezuela. The flotilla that went to Gaza to bring food and supplies have all been arrested and are now basically imprisoned in Israel. Russia's still running out of fuel, but Russia cut off Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant from the grid, so they have to use generators to keep the cooling towers and everything running, which is, if they run out of the secondary power, a meltdown could happen, and it's the largest nuclear plant in Europe, so it would cause all sorts of damage and chaos. Putin announced or admitted today that it was him who was flying drones around secure locations in Europe and said he won't do it anymore. Anything else to add there, monkey butt? No? All right, just keep being a dog, and I'll keep being in Houston. Okay, let's do a classic. Okay, and turn the classic off. Bing. All right. Lyco Crypto's in here first again. Oh, I forgot to do? I forgot to turn this into a live chat. And then I forgot to put on the multi-stream. I wish it just automatically did that for me. If I'm multi-streaming, just assume I want the multi-stream chat. Anyway. Lyco Crypto, Houston. Start of the show, to-do list, turn off intro, turn on multi-stream, let the cat in, and feed monkey butt. Cat is outside, and it's a lovely day, so he can't become a giant sponge and come in and ruin my day like he did yesterday. Monkey butt, I bet I could probably give you something. Let's see what I can give you. How about a big ass cracker? Ugh. Big Kirkland cracker work for the monkey butt. Yeah, one of those. Yes. There you go. Oh yeah. Okay. Whew. Stinky crackers. All right. Intro. I did turn off the intro. Zuma guy do with nub second. Basapa third. Polestar yo. Polestar, I'm really seeing what you've been saying about the military junta. What other way can the U.S. recover? It's going to come down to a time where the military just must say no. Which way will they go? The longer they wait, the harder it will be, because they'll start purging all the generals that might even remotely be thinking about something like that, or at least saying no to orders. And we're going to be left with a whole bunch of colonels who got maxed out in the promotion chain because they're or not to be trusted, and those guys will get moved up. And then that whole thing will get a lot harder. So, yeah. Wish times could be good. Having the good times back, man. When all we cared about was like a tan suit or a blue dress. When those are like the worst things in the world to happen. And but no. Oh well. GDC is 5th. Mr. E Machine, why would a nuclear reactor Chernobyl without any diesel fuel? Basically, if you've got a whole bunch of cooling systems, and those cooling systems, you know, if the fuel rods get too hot, you pull them back, right? And if you can't pull them back, you run into trouble. And sometimes you need deeper cooling systems. And so if like a system's overloading, you have to shut down a reactor, you still need a power system to ensure that the cooling is going on. And that's where being connected to the grid / having diesel generators comes in. Otherwise, oops. Like, oh no, it's overloaded. We got to shut it down. We got to pull these rods back. We don't have power to actually pull these rods back. So, womp. And that's kind of how it works. I mean, that's the most general way to describe it. But yeah, that's why you need backup power. Think about like in your Prius, right? You have a gigantic battery, like a huge battery that can power the car for 20, 30 miles without having to use the electricity or the engine, right? But you also have a 12-volt battery to start the engine. If that 12-volt battery's out, you can't start the engine with the rest of the car. This is now, as the systems are completely separate, and that's kind of the way nuclear power systems are set up. You've got like these multiple systems in play. And it might not be the greatest system in the world, because I don't think people were really counting on like war between Russia and Ukraine when this nuclear power plant was built back during the Cold War. So yeah, there wasn't much foresight in that. Dave Wright, nowhere near first. Am I doing this right? You are doing it right. Billy Mack, if they can sell us fake shares, they can sell us fake warrants. They can, but exercising those warrants is where things get real tricky. So let's say they put a bunch of fake warrants in your account. They're not real. If you exercise them, right, they're going to get exercised like real warrants. They will go to the treasury at GME, pull a share out, put it in your account, right? Now, if all 59 million or so shares get executed that way, people still have warrants in their account. When they exercise those warrants, that means the broker has to go out and buy a share on the open market at face value. So let's say the share is trading at $80 a share, right? And you exercise your warrant, they got to spend, $48 more to get that share on the market than they otherwise would just getting it from the treasury, because $32 would just go straight to GameStop. Now the $32 goes to the broker, and they have to find another $50 to go buy that share on the market. So that's one way to bleed shorts dry in that case. So yeah, there you go. That's why if the stock price is over $32 next week, there's a good chance that all those warrants, 67% of those warrants get executed, because rich people own the bonds. Institutions own 55% of the total shares outstanding. Ryan Cohen's got 10%. Ryan Kitty's got 5%, right? So a huge number of those warrants might be executed the moment the share price is above $32 a share. And if that happens, and they announce, "Hey, look at that! All of the warrants have been executed. People still have a whole bunch in their accounts of those warrants, and they haven't executed any of them." Oh, you just got yourself a census of how many shares are actually out there trading. I'm sure that the brokers and the DTCC and shorts and all those guys are working on ways to mitigate the potential disaster, but things work the way they should, which they often don't. That's what should be happening. Super chat came in. Who is this from? It's from Lobby. Will you review the latest OCC update regarding GME warrants, especially the section regarding uncovered short obligations? Also, let's fucking go already. Sure, we can do that. I gotta find it first. Nope, that's from the 12th. I want more recent. That's September 12th. I gotta find it. So you see, I got the one. How do I? All right, got to go to the OCC. TheOCC.com. Nope, that just quit trying to download that stupid thing. TheOCC.com. Boom. There we go. Okay. Where are my filings? GTR. GameStop. There it is. All right. Yes. Save. Open it. You can open it for me? Yes. Open it. There we go. Continue. Don't care about that. All right. Boom. Boom. Crap. Adobe Acrobat. Oh, you're not opening. Okay, never mind. You're not opening that. You want to be in. You're opening actually in Chrome, not Adobe Acrobat this time. Okay. Boom. 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 Okay. Here's the filing. Each warrant will provide the right to purchase one GameStop share, Class A common share at $32 per GME share. So the price, $30 per GME share, one warrant per 10 GameStop shares. Record date is tomorrow. Expiration is the 30th, unless extended. So that's important to note. So they could be like, you know what? We're going to set it a year. So the company basically reserves the right to extend that. Agent, guarantee period, unknown. Effective date, tomorrow. GME becomes GME 1. So basically the options, if you get an option tomorrow that expires tomorrow, and you execute that option, you will be entitled to the warrants on the 7th from those shares, because that's the date of record. And if you buy options for next week tomorrow, they will also come with the warrants. So keep that in mind. Those become GME 1 option symbols. I don't really know what the new multiplier thing even means. 150 yields $150. I don't know. Per contract, 100 GameStop Corporation GME class common shares, 10 GameStop Corporation warrants, subject to delayed settlement until regular trade. I was going to saying that the contracts. Oh, so they're adding $1.50 to each share of the contract. That's what they're saying. Okay, and that each contract will have the 100 GameStop warrants in it. The QSIP, settlement allocation, blah, blah, blah. Delayed settlement. The GME component of the GME 1 exercise assignment activity will settle through the National Securities Clearing Corporation, NSCC. OCC will delay settlement of the GME WS component of GME 1 exercise assignment activity until the trading status of the warrants is determined. Upon determination of the warrants trading status, OCC will require put exercisers and call assignees to deliver the appropriate amount of warrants. So whoever is doing these puts and calls, they're going to have to deliver the warrants on those if they are GME 1s. Note, it is not yet known if the warrants will cease trading on New York Stock Exchange prior to expiration. The warrants are expected to expire October 30th. GME WS component of adjusted option GME 1 will remain part of the GME 1 deliverable until the warrants have expired. Once the expiration of the warrants has been confirmed, the GME warrants will be removed from the GME1 deliverable. This change to the deliverables expected effective November 2nd. Blah, 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 blah. Option contracts are exercised, physically settled. Blah, blah, blah. Basically just saying if you are selling your covered calls and those covered calls get exercised, those folks who sell covered calls, you will be responsible for providing the warrants in those calls. If those things were purchased before the 3rd, right, and exercised later. So don't go on selling those warrants off somewhere else if you've got covered calls that haven't been exercised yet. You will have to hold on to those for show, unless you close out that position. Uncovered short obligations. Holders of assigned calls or exercised puts and holders of short positions of physically settled security futures at maturity who do not possess the underlying security at the time of assignment or exercise are subject to a special risk. Suspension of trading of the underlying security, inability to borrow the security, or similar events may preclude the possibility of affecting timely delivery, thereby exposing persons with an obligation to provide to liability if time delivery is not affected. See delivery settlement period and protection provisions above. Basically saying if you're short, you're fucked. You may lose all sorts of rights and privileges and be out a bunch of money and be totally screwed. And that's kind of what they're saying there. That's all the big stuff. So yeah, there you go. All right. I turned off the. Oh, I did turn off the intros. Sometimes it's good. I have like PTSD from that. Where'd we go? I did that one. 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 King Ding Dong. You get a free Twitch Prime with Amazon Prime each month. The catch being you have to do it each month, but if you don't, Daddy Bezos gets to keep it. I don't know what Twitch Prime is. Is that basically allows you to like watch Twitch shows without the commercial? I don't entirely know. I'll have to look that up. But I have Amazon Prime. So I guess is my Twitch connected to my Amazon account, Monkey? I have no idea. Just keep track of these things for me, because I don't know. Polestar. Dems are too weak. And now they're trying to stir up internal drama, and who the leader is, Fox News is eating it up. The Democrats are just... There's a huge chunk of the Democrats who want to do things to help the average person. And then there's the leadership of the Democratic Party that wants to somehow maintain a status quo to make their corporate overlords happy. And they will say things that are like, we shouldn't put people in camps, and then not do anything about keeping people from going to camps. And those folks control the purse strings of the Democratic Party and do their best to quell anyone that actually wants to do things that help people. And that's the struggle of the Democratic Party, and why it would be great if we just shredded all of the ways we elect federal officials in this country and went from a first past the post system and electoral college into a proportional representation, so that the Democrats could actually be two entirely different parties. There could be the Democrats and then, like, I don't know, the liberal Democrats or something. And then you have the progressives and leftists and whatever. And that they, together, would form a coalition. So if the corporate Democrats want to have any activity in the government whatsoever, they would have to form a coalition with the far left Democrats, who could break apart the government at any moment unless you gave them things like, you know, universal health care and pre-K and, you know, paid maternity leave and all these things. So then we'd actually get some change in this country. And if you broke it apart that way, you would have, you know, sort of centrist independents. You would have your far right weirdos who would get just maligned constantly, and they wouldn't be in the power they are because the way we designed all these districts that just favor, you know, most hardcore people in these primaries. So yeah, this is the burden we have to bear. And if I had a time machine, like people have, you know, if I had a time machine, I'd go back and I'd kill baby Hitler. If I had a time machine, I would go back and I would show the founding fathers what the Electoral College and not having a parliament with proportional representation does to this country in the end. It basically just makes us like impotent to anything except for authoritarian rule. And they would go, oh, you know what? Good point. Let's change that. And then an abscess would explode in their mouth. Yeah. Nobles, butterfly. GDC. The Jewish holiday of Sukkot starts Monday night. If RC doesn't push the button soon, he can scoot these nuts. Yeah. Go hang out in your shed. Eat a cookie. Repeat a prayer. Be a brand. Huh. Lube that chair. I literally lubed that chair just the other day, and it's still squeaky as shit. I just did it, and it's really driving me up the wall, because I think it's actually the leather on leather that's making most of the squeaking at this point. And I don't know, maybe I need to get some sort of synthetic fabric chair or something. I don't know. If you guys know a good chair that's really good for bony butts like mine, I need a lot of cushion. Let me know, because it just so squeaky and it drives me up the wall. It's comfortable, but squeaky. ECB chatter about QSIP number for BBYW. Oh yeah. So QSIPs, the first was it 6 numbers of a QSIP, is the identifier of the company, and it has to do with the name of the company, right? And when Overstock switched to Beyond, switched to BBBY, the QSIP stayed with the Overstock first 6 numbers. The BBBY warrants have the QSIP numbers from the old BBBY, our BBBY, the BBBYQ was now DK Butterfly. Those warrants have the QSIP number from that one. Now, it could be related to the old BBBYQ. My guess is it's just a reassignment using Bed Bath & Beyond's name and translating that into a number pattern. I guess we'll see. But yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. J-Dog, Mariners versus Tigers Saturday. Go Mariners! That's right, buddy. Had a couple days off. They're recovering. Hopefully they're like out there scrimmaging and playing games, because oftentimes teams that have the little break, the little bye past the wild card series, those ones don't do so well. And the wild card people who keep playing seem to do really well. So, yeah. I have a bunch of friends going to that game. I wish I could afford to go, but I'm saving my money for warrants like an idiot. And I have friends that are going to have once-in-a-lifetime experiences, spending $275 for a ticket to go see a playoff game, which I've never been able to go to. So, anyway, I will watch on television. All right. Jason Blackwell, Haitian government shutdown. Zaporizhzhia nuke plant hours from meltdown. France declares they are ready for World War III. Perfect time for S&P all-time high. Yeah. Brilliant time for it. Absolutely brilliant. Nothing but terrible news coming out on all fronts. There's not a single positive economic indicator. I read something this morning that was there's 28 indicators showing that a recession is imminent and 0 indicators showing that it isn't. But yeah, you know, woo, bye. So there are people making money right now. Good for them. I don't have the balls to go out and be green on the S&P 500. And I don't know who has those stones, but my goodness, they're making some money at the moment. It's all going to just rug pull under them. But I'm not that. I like risk, but it just seems like the moment I go, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to buy in, that's when the rug's going to get pulled. And oh well. Ding ding dong. I have started watching the David Pac-Man show. He seems reasonable and progressive. Anyone else confirm? I don't know who that is. David Pac-Man? Hello, Pac-Man. David Pac-Man. David Pac-Man home. David Pac-Man shows, one of the most viewed progressive political channels on YouTube. I guess he's a... Oh, I recognize that face. Okay, I've seen that dude on like clips before. I don't think I ever knew his name. Cool. All right. So, wow. All right, cool. Oh, shoot. Dang it. Reset the chat again. Always happens, man. Always happens. Now we gotta go back up to David Pac-Man show. Where that? There it is. All right, Polestar, check your health insurance rate. 75% increase. Y'all going to die. I think it's a minimum of 75% increase. Most states are going to face 100 to 150% increase, and some red states may see as high as 384%. I can't remember if it's West Virginia or I think West Virginia, Texas, and Alaska are all over 300%. So they are doomed. Right now, if you want good insurance for a family of 4, you're probably paying around $2,000 a month or more. And if you're lucky, your employer picks up most of that. If you're just going on the market to buy it and you don't have subsidies, you're fucked. You're probably looking at if your company's helping pick up and defray the costs, you're probably looking at $3,000 or more a month for health insurance for a family of 4. That is not possible for most of the population. So most of the population is probably going to go uninsured and just hope that they can find a loan or a GoFundMe or something, or hope that no one gets injured. But, you get little kids, they go out, play soccer, they break an arm, they fall off a bike, someone gets cancer, gets in a car accident. You just don't know what's going to happen. And the whole point of insurance is that there's going to be coverage there for when it does, because that's what it is. And I just wish we had a better system. I mean, the one thing I can hope for is that they're making things so terrible right now and so dangerous and unappealing and just gives everyone the ick that it will whet the appetite for universal health care in the end. And that those folks will be like, you know what, this system sucks. We need something drastically different. We'll just do single payer for everybody. And then all of a sudden, $3 trillion of expenditure will vanish, and over 2 million administrators and insurance bureaucrats will just poof into nothing. And then we just get care. And rural hospitals can open up again. And doctors can just be on salary and not have to worry about paying weird accountants and shit and covering all this stuff. Malpractice insurance is just part of being at work. Right, monkey? Right, dude? You know what's up. Okay. Guy. Are options really going to be renamed to GME 1? Will this prevent arbitrage with people selling options this week and then buying them to close next week after warrants are issued? I don't know. I mean, if you have a GME 1, there is going to be the $1.50 per share premium that comes on that. And my guess is that the options are going to trade for more than $1.50. So you're probably getting a discount when those things come to market. I wouldn't doubt if they're more in like the $3 to $5 range when the options come to market. So you might get a discount on per warrant. Options. I keep saying options mean warrant. Per warrant when you get those options. So, oh, Smokes big super chat just came in. Oh my goodness. John Castro, Houston, you deserve to go to the game. Here's a ticket and buy $25. $25 for a hot dog and soda. Do not buy warrants for this. John Castro, thank you. Actually, my buddy JJ had an extra ticket for sale because they have season tickets. Just see if JJ is JJ. Sure. Oh shit! Someone claimed his ticket. Damn it. Okay. All right. After the show, I will go searching. I will see if I can buy one on like StubHub or something and go to the game. Thank you, John Castro. That is one of the nicest things someone's ever done for me. I will not buy warrants with that. I will go. If I can't go to Saturday's game, maybe I can go to Sunday's game. They're playing Sunday, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. That is... Monkey, you're going to be staying home. I'm sorry. I apologize. But there's a playoff game, and I've never been, and I want to go. I'm going to scratch your little dome. I feel like I'm going to cry. Thank you. That's really, really nice. Yogi 2012 just ordered me a JHS double barrel. I know I'm the only one who cares about the guitar stuff. I'm excited. You know, I care about guitar stuff. I've got a Strat right there. Yeah, baby, Stratocaster. A little dusty because I don't play very often, but you know, out of tune. All right. I used to play a lot. That's when I had like friends that lived near me and we would jam and we do all sorts of fun things. And now they are like have families and do boring shit. And then I don't go out and play anymore or do open mic nights anymore. And yeah, I just walk the dog. That's what I do. I walk you. You are the hobby now, dog. Hope you appreciate that. And don't give me bombastic side eye. Okay. Luminous Reflections. Hi, Houston. Shout out to Monkey Butt and Fat Cat. So I'll post the warrant QSIP for BBBY Overstock warrants. QSIP is the same QSIP of DK Butterfly or BBYQ. Is this true? Yes, it is true. I have no idea if it's related to old BBBYQ. I don't think so. I think they just assigned it because the name is Bed Bath & Beyond and the symbol is BBYQ. And that's, I think the reason. Polestar says, I bet the QSIP is just some old data poll. King Ding Dong, wish I knew how to play an instrument. I think I'm going to have my kids take piano and do it with them. Why not? There's been fun. I miss jamming. Like, you know, you can sit around and play by yourself, but I like playing with my friends a lot more. And the problem is that they all, you know, got old families and stopped playing, and then I didn't have friends to play with anymore, etc. But no, I think it's good for the brain to know how to play an instrument. And I think it does different things to your brain. Like you're listening to music, not knowing how to play an instrument, and listening to music and knowing how to play an instrument. I think different things fire in your head than before. It's good to have them like be in band in middle school and learn how to play trumpet or sousaphone or whatever. If they're really weird, you make them play trombones because trombones are the weirdest kids in school. And yeah, I think that's good. Snort Wasabi. All eyes on the BBBY warrants tied to the QSIP for OG Bobby. Kelly Reed. Happy birthday, HW. Searches for help with mortgage reach levels unseen since the Great Recession. Reverse repo hits 8 billion, single digits. How many participants now in reverse repo? Fed reverse repo. Because last week it was 16 were still participating. We are down to 10 participants. 10 participants, and we're at 8 billion? 8.4 billion. They're still offering 4% interest, though, which is pretty decent for just parking your money overnight. Pretty decent annual interest rate return. Look at this graph. Look at this thing. Right here. Right? This is 200 billion just in July. And we're talking about, holy smokes, it's gone so low. And now we're down to 8. Right? So if we expand this out, bing, right? Got the craziness back in 2024. We're at 700 billion. Bink. We are peaking here in 2023. We are at over 2 trillion, right? And we can go back to pre-COVID times. When they had this spike in early 2020, there were news articles about it. They're like, oh my God, reverse repo has done things it's never done before. And then went, holy shit, trying to hold back inflation all this time. This is all the government trying to hold, and the Fed trying to hold back inflation from all this money entering the market and making prices scream even higher than they were. And once the inflation got under control, right, you expect a drawdown. But then we're thinking like, wait a minute. These banks are having trouble because they don't have their depositors' money, right? Because in here, that would have been, what, March, right near the peak. This is when like First Fed and Silicon Valley Bank and a whole bunch of others went in trouble, and they discovered that like Bank of America could go at any moment. And I think this is less like, let's keep money out of the system, and more, we don't have our depositors' cash because commercial real estate's worthless and all these bonds are failing. And oh no. So yeah, I want to know what's going to happen when this gets back to this level, when they're basically at zero and there's no excess liquidity out there. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And yes, you're right. People looking for help with mortgages or how to stave off foreclosure. Those Google searches are like at record highs right now. And Kelly Reed, I'm assuming everyone saw XRT is short 1,007%. XRT. One of the things that needs to be fixed at the SEC is how ETFs are treated when a stock is like short sale restricted, etc. Because you can't, like, if say GameStop goes short sale restricted, you can't short GameStop when the price is up for 24 hours, right? For a whole trading shift. But what they'll do is they'll go find a thing, something like XRT that has GameStop in it, and they'll short the shit out of XRT during that time because there's no rules against that. There needs to be some sort of way of closing that loophole, just locking that back door so they can't be doing that. Like, make it so they can't short ETFs at all. Like, ETFs just trade and they're locked into whatever the market is doing, and that's it. You just can't short them because there's too many companies involved in there. Because what they do is they take those shares of the ETF and they peel away. If you're shorting an ETF, you are desperate. Because remember, you got, it's like the Russell 2000 or something. You might have 2,000 different companies represented in there. And the biggest companies might be as much as 1% of each one of those shares. And that 1% might represent 1/50th of an actual share of the company. So in order to short one share of GameStop, you end up having to short 50 shares of XRT. And you have to take each one of those things, peel everything away, take that one little 1/50th of a share, combine it with another one little 50th of a share, and do that, and then send it out in the market. And then when it comes time to close, you have to like go buy all those shares again and put it all back together and feed it back into the machine. It is an absolutely desperate move by shorts when you're doing that. That is, I have no other choice. I have to do this. And you're trying to short possibly tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of shares in a system that might only have 10,000 shares total, split up amongst all those ETF pieces. And it's like a crackhead just desperately begging for just anything, $1, anything, right? That's if you're shorting those ETFs, that's what you're doing. You are like the crackhead of Wall Street. And BBBY Brand, how does this man go? It wasn't me or my drones to it was me, my bad, I won't do it again. Oh right, he got caught and can't deny it anymore. Seeing the pattern of it's okay to lie until it's not. Yeah, I mean, the French seized the ship that was thought to be the launching point for these drones and then captured the drone operators and the drones. There's not a reason a single Russian Shadow Fleet ship should not be seized by a government around the world. Everyone should, if you see one, seize it. Seize it, arrest the crew, take the oil, do whatever, and remove all those shitty little... Because not only are they funding, this criminal regime in Russia, but the ships are dangerous, they're old, they're leaky, they don't have certifications, they're shit ships. So just take them. I have no problem with that. Ding ding dong. So tomorrow is the last day to buy GME for the divvy? No, today was. Tomorrow is the date of record. So with T+1, tomorrow it's in your account official. It gets recorded by everybody. So today was the last day to buy it. Just like yesterday was the last day to buy BBBY to qualify. Boris Raspy, Houston. How much is $1,000 pre-split on AMC? Boss Blunt said AMC is going to 1,000. Uh, $1,000 pre-split on AMC is worth what, like $5 today, something like that. So if AMC goes to 1,000, you will 5x your money. But AMC is not going to 1,000. It's Adam Aaron let the shorts win on AMC. There's no coming back at all. He really fucked that one up. He could have made it so that he paid off all of their debts and everything by diluting properly, but he didn't. He could have, if he's going to dilute the Ape shares, he could have done it when Ape was $10 a share and paid off all their debt in one go. But instead, he waited till it was 66 cents a share and then gave a deal to the company that bought him. What was that hedge fund called? Auroras or something like that. Anyway, and gave a deal to them at like 55 cents a share. And then they paid off about this much of their debt and went, oh boy. And then from then on, they just kept diluting when the stock price is not worth anything. They pay off this much of their debt, which covers maybe their interest rates for the year. So yeah, it's not going to $1,000 a share. AMC is toast. Adam Aaron fucked that up big time. King Ding Dong wouldn't go near AMC personally. Doesn't mean you can't make money. I'm just sure I can't. I mean, you can, you can day trade it. It'll have ups and downs, but it's never going to get back to the point where the shorts are in danger. When AMC was $23 or more a share, the shorts were underwater. With the 10-to-1 reverse split, that means the share price has to be $230 in order for shorts to like feel anything from this. And they just don't. So I don't see the stock price having any reason to get to $230 a share, especially whenever there's any price action. Adam Aaron sells a few million shares in the market and then pays off like a fart's worth of interest on his loans. They are in the death spiral at the moment. They really need to have something amazing happen for them not to be. Super chat from Don C. Shadem. Missed the live chat. Got to drive home now. Oh, well, have fun drive. Listen away. Chris Taylor says hi. King Ding Dong. Without a budget, where is their money coming from? Whose budget? Money for the president and the Congress? I mean, there's money there. They just throw it out there and then worry about it later, I think. But there's no funding approved for anything else the government shuts down. Beaver Brand, Boris, get the crank and manually move the nuclear rods. Pretty much. Go in there, push rod in. Yeah. M. Dugovich, I work a nuke plant, 2 emergency diesels for each unit. Nice explanation. Thank you. Hey, there you go. That was as hand wavy as I can make it. So yeah, my sister is the nuclear physicist. She knows what I know about like stars and planets. So yeah, best I could do. Another super chat. Skirt. Happy birthday, HW. When will the GME warrants be available to trade? What will they open at? And what do you think the initial impact to the stock price tomorrow? I don't know if there's going to be much buying action of the stocks themselves tomorrow. It'll probably be warrants, because the warrants are where you're going to get the keep interchanging warrants and options. This price action is going to be in the options, because the options are where you'll get the warrants post date of record. So if you are looking to get, your 1 warrant per 10 shares, and you didn't get your shares today, you have to do it tomorrow with warrants. And so that may cause a whole bunch of buying, because people who are naked have to go into the market and buy a bunch of warrants, especially if the people buy them in the money. If they go out and they just buy tomorrow, just a shitload of in the money warrants that expire tomorrow afternoon. And then all those market makers go, oh crap, we got to go buy a whole bunch of GME shares on Monday. And that's where you might see the price action from. The 7th is when the warrants get distributed. So I assume the 7th is when they start trading, if not the 8th. So it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday when they start trading. That's when I plan on jumping into Fidelity and buying as many as I can. So, good luck to all of you in that effort. Did that one. Oh, that's your friend, King Ding Dong. I like him too. He's actually neither Dem or Pub, so he calls that his. Oh, talking about the Pac-Man guy. Okay. Boris Raspy. I bought back in 2024 after Roaring Kitty came back. I regret it, to be honest. Oh, AMC. You're talking about. I was like, wait a minute. Roaring Kitty was never part of AMC, so bummer. Corporate Walnut, we're in chin stroke territory for sure. Yes, just stroking the chin, nodding, wondering, hoping. Another hype date comes and goes. King Ding Dong, I'm your friend. The first video I saw of his was breaking down a Charlie Kirk conspiracy video, and I think he helped people think critically. Oh, talking about the Pac-Man again. Okay. And people talking about Pac-Man. And Yogi says, I can't get my kids to play anything. My daughter loves singing, though. Well, singing is a musical instrument. It's the easiest one to do. Well, I guess not easiest one because a lot of people can't sing. But it's the most accessible. Polestar, maybe Costco knew about the Game Pass price increase. After all, yeah. So the Game Pass is $19 a month, right, for Xbox, and they raised it to $29, and now everyone's canceling their Xbox subscriptions. I guess GameStop has a whole bunch of 1999s that still have to be honored, and they must have bought those in bulk. I don't know, but yeah, Costco stopped selling the Xbox. Maybe they're like, fuck this. I'm out. I don't know. But the price rises on these subscriptions are insane. Disney losing 2 million subscribers because they fired Jimmy Kimmel and then be like, we're going to raise prices. That's not how you bring them in, dude. Not how you bring them in. One of these days, someone's going to figure out how to break apart all these companies so that they're in pieces and they actually compete with each other rather than being owned by each other. But and then we might see actual like price competition. King Ding Dong, what's the newest nuclear plant in America? Aren't they all pretty dated? There were a lot of them being under construction in the 80s. They got canceled. I don't know if we brought one online anytime recently. Newest nuclear plant USA. Newest nuclear plant in the United States is Plant Vogtle in Unit 4 in Georgia, which began a commercial operation in April 2024. Units 3 and 4 are the newest nuclear units constructed in the U.S. in the last 3 decades, significantly expanding clean energy generation economy. So I guess we opened 2 in the last couple of years at that plant. So 3 began 2023, 4 2024, and it was the first one in 7 years. So there you go. And there's one being built in Wyoming right now. The last time a plant opened was 2016. And before that... Yeah, so we have a couple going up. Not like it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s where they're just like whoop, 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 all over the place. The most famous one around here is the remnants of the Satsop. Let's see here. It's a pretty cool place to go visit. So this is the Satsop one in Washington. And they had most of the infrastructure built, the cooling towers, things like that. And they stopped construction sometime in the 1980s. They lost all the budget for it and just stopped. And so when you drive by on the highway, you see the big cooling towers and there's nothing in them. One of the cooling towers, this guy, is just an empty shell. And this cooling tower is actually full of all the infrastructure. So what basically happens is with that parabolic shape, like that weird conical section, is when wind blows by, it creates a suction through. And so you pump the water through the infrastructure that chains back and forth, and then all the wind cools off the water and then drifts back down and floats back into the nuclear reactor, and so you keep a cycle going that way. This one, if you get permission, you can climb inside of them if somebody's working there. It's actually turned into a business park, so it's like industrial park, business park that's here, and they just have these two giant concrete towers. The far one here, this one is full of all the infrastructure for the cooling, and you go inside like, oh, that's neat. But this guy, this one, close one, is empty. This is the awesome one to climb inside of because of the parabolic nature of that curve. You can have somebody stand a football field away from you inside this thing, and you can whisper like this, and it sounds like you're yelling in their ears. It is really cool experience. I highly recommend just driving through Satsop if you have a chance, stopping off there, and just seeing if somebody will let you in to like play around in that. I took a girl on a date years and years and years ago. So she wanted to learn how to gold mine on the beach. She's like, yeah, let's go gold mining. It was summer, so we weren't going to get anything. But we drove out that way. I was like, check out the old nuclear plant. And so we checked it out, and we're like standing around looking at things, and this maintenance guy's like, how are you guys doing? Fine. He starts talking to us about the plant. He's like, do you want to go inside? I was like, hell yeah, I want to go inside. And then he said, don't say a word. I don't want to say a peep. And he's like, young lady, you stay here. Young man, you go way over that far side. And then he told her to like start whispering to me, and it was so freaky. It was really cool. It's like being at one of those Greek amphitheaters where you get that focal point and the parabolic structure of it's really cool. So outside of that, I think the only nuclear plant we have in Washington is Hanford, which is half nuclear waste facility and giant Superfund cleanup. But this one's a pretty cool one to go visit for being abandoned. A lot of billions of dollars in the 1980s went into this thing for nothing to happen, and now it's just a business park. So, anywho. Where was I? Nuclear plant. When will Saudi Arabia buy out GameStop? Seriously. Saudis are trying to buy everything right now because they're trying to diversify as much as they can and control a whole bunch of the media. So they just bought EA Sports $55 billion with Jared Kushner and Silver Lake, who just was a big part of the Ellison purchase of TikTok. Yeah. And they just paid a whole bunch of comedians to go to Saudi Arabia and tell jokes. And other comedians are like, fuck you, I admire you, what are you doing? But money's money. Money talks. People have a price. Everyone has a price. I have a price. No one's met that price yet, but I have a price. Yeah. So, hey, Saudi Arabia, you want me to become pro Saudi Arabia channel? I have a price. I will put up here on the board. You will see Kenny G, his album cover, and you will know that Saudi Arabia or someone just bought me. So I have a price. That price right now, inflation has gone up to about $5 million. So you pay me that much, I'll say whatever you want. All right. Oh, there's Beer Brand with the plant Vogtle. I don't even pronounce that. Vogtle. Vogtle. It's a very weird word. Guinea Dong. Fine, it's been so long. Please don't let MOAS be started by the guys that did 9/11. Beer Brand going 100% solar next year, and my parents are doing the same even without rebates. The prices are great, and all the talk about power cost hikes of 60 to 200%, I'm not participating. In Washington, they still are required by law to buy any excess energy from you. So if you can manage to put solar panels on everything and you don't use them as electricity, you end up getting a check every month from the power company. So other states made that illegal because the power company's like, no, we don't want competition. But here in Washington, you have to pay people for the excess energy they produce and don't use. So by all means, man, do it. David Wright, I'm so I just went to my Fidelity account and I was surprised that I couldn't hear Houston anymore. I'm a doctor and nowhere near the worst one. You should all be horrified by that. Save the YouTube up, just went into this Fidelity and I just disappeared. Yeah, it happens. my best friend is a very brilliant man. He's a biochemist. He's engineer. You've probably seen his post his pictures of his restored KitchenAid appliances that he like paints all wild colors. He builds kayaks and has a ski press in his garage, and he welds bicycles, and he's got a CNC machine he built from scratch and a 3D printer he built from scratch, and he programs all sorts of cool stuff. His wife is my friend Sarah that works for Blue Origin, and one evening we're at his house, and I noticed that water's leaking out from under the sink, from the cabinet sink. He's going, "Oh no!" And he like throws a bowl under the sink, and he's like mopping up everything, and he's wringing out like the towel is using into the sink so it drains into the bowl, and he's doing that, and the bowl's full, and he takes the bowl and he goes to empty it in the sink and just dumps all back out of the cabinet again. Because yeah, we do things like that. We're just, all of us are just a pinch dumb at times, right? Right, dog? Yeah, just a skosh stupid. Just mammy. Giving Dave right shit. Peter Brand, Twitch Prime is a benefit of having Amazon Prime. It's a free Twitch sub. Ian, why do I get the feeling price will not go nowhere, at least not within the next 6 months? I think it can go places. Where are we right now? Where is I don't have it on that. So I'll bring it up. The GME options. Okay. So yeah, the price went down a little bit. We're at 27 and change. We were over 28 yesterday after hours. I think tomorrow we'll see some option buying. If they're really smart, people will buy in the money right before close, a whole bunch of them. If you're a gajillionaire, oh man, buy a whole bunch. In that way, you will qualify for those warrants and really fuck up Gamma on Monday. Where's our GME Max Pain? Okay, Max Pain was $26 earlier in the week. It's now down to $25.50. So we're almost $2 above Max Pain. We have 37,000 contracts in the money. Let's see here. If we get to 28, we put another 20,000 contracts in the money. That will be at almost 6 million shares. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. If we can get 28 tomorrow, they'll probably try to push the price down to the 25.5. But if rich people are buying options contracts like crazy, they're in the money to take advantage of the warrants and the warrants. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if these warrants sell at $3 to $5 starting next week, and you're getting them basically for $1.50 each if you're buying these options contracts. So it seems like a screaming deal to me. Why not? Why not get some Gamma from Monday that way? Okay, I can do a couple more and then I gotta run away. Oh shoot, there's a reset of the chat. The Medicare and TRICARE active military are basically one payer system. The administrators are still needed to coordinate the payments, and doctors are in theory limit fraud. The administration for Medicare, Medicaid, VA is about 1/30th of that of private insurance. Basically, like if the Veterans Hospital, I think it's 1 cent of every dollar at the VA goes to administrative fees, where through private insurance it's 30 cents or more of every dollar. So it's vastly more efficient to have a single payer system. You still have administrators, right? But that's it. A great example of this, of like universal care administrators, there's a really off-the-wall improv sitcom in England called The Green Wing. It's a very weird show. A lot of famous British actors were in it. It's about, this group of doctors, and then there's like these administrators. And the entire administrative office is 5 people. Just 5 of them. That's it. They administrate the entire hospital. Whereas here in the US, you would have like 25 doctors and maybe 100 administrators to do that. There's 800,000 doctors and there's 2.1 million hospital administrators and insurance bureaucrats. So it's almost 3 to 1. That rate. In other hospitals where there's single payer systems, you have like, the head of the hospital, a couple of their underlings, maybe a purchase orders person, accounts receivable, whatever. It's very small versus the folks who have to spend all their time arguing with insurance companies and negotiating prices. And then your doctors aren't actually employees of the hospital. They have admission privileges in their own private company. And then they have to have their own underlings and nurses they hire and all this shit. It becomes a giant shitstorm. I mean, we got a Dr. David Wrights in here. He'd probably explain what a shit show it is for everybody at that point. But yeah, the administration is so much smaller in a universal system than it is in our system. So, yeah. All right. I got to get going. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a show. Not sure what time. We'll figure it out. Maybe an evening show. Maybe it won't be an evening show. Who knows? Monkey Butt, you have anything to add? No? You cool? All right. Well, also, now I need to go figure out if I can get tickets for the Mariners game on Saturday or Sunday. Thank you, John Castro. That was awesome. That was one of the nicest things someone's ever done for me. Thank you. Have an awesome day. I will click on this one. Bye.